All right, in this video, I wanted to show you guys how you would put together an exclusive right to sell contract. We've already gone through the residential real estate contract, a buyer agency contract. So now let's look at exclusive right to sells, because we know listings are the bread and butter of your business. So I am here in commands in my listings, and I'm under the cultivate. Okay, so these are two that I have that will hopefully be coming up soon. So we're going to go ahead and fill out this exclusive right to sell right now with you guys so you can see how it's done. So again, it's already set up in here. I'm going to go to documents like we do with everything. I'm going to pick my checklist type, and it's going to be residential. It's always one of the first things I do. Okay, then because this is a new transaction, I'm going to go start a transaction, and I'm going to do it in DocuSign. Okay, remember I've said this in past videos, the very first time that you're starting a new room, you always want to get to it from command. That way it is going to be easier to put your documents straight from DocuSign into command. So always, 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 when you're first starting a new one, get to DocuSign from command so that they are linked. I'm going to go into details here first, because again, if you remember, everything that we put here in details is what is going to transfer over and autofill into our contracts. So very important that this is set up so that you have less that you have to type into the actual contract. So she is a single person, so I'm going to go ahead and add that. I'm going to take her phone number out just because I don't typically have those on the contracts. So the address of the property, I'm just going to put it in right here. And obviously the city, the county, and the state. Oops. The state over here. And then her zip code. All right. Okay. Listing date. So let's say, for example, that this one's going to go live on Friday. So I'll put the 18th. And I typically do my listings for 3 months. You can choose to do whatever you want for your listing time periods. Some people do 6 months, some people do a year. It's absolutely up to you. There's no rule on this. So the way that I do it is 3 months. Original listing amount, I really don't know on this one, so let's just say 175 so that I have something to put in there. Okay. All right, and the rest of this stuff will get filled in once I have an actual offer on this property. Okay, there is no seller to, making sure that my information comes over. So for some reason my phone number doesn't, so I'm going to put it in under home, because that is what I have learned. That is what transfers over to the contract appropriately. The rest of the stuff is in here as it should be. There is no listing agent to, and as of this time, again, I don't know the buyers because I'm just doing the exclusive right to sell. It hasn't even been listed yet. Okay, so that is updated. I'm going to go into my documents. I'm going to add a document to my room, and it is going to be a DocuSign form. It's going to be a KCRAR, and I am going to just start typing in exclusive, because I want the exclusive right to sell contract. I'm going to add selected, and I'm just going to go ahead and add in, while I'm right here, I could have done it before. I'm going to go ahead and get the franchise disclosure in here. The one that has our updated address is the one that does not have a date. So please select that one. So then I'll click on my exclusive right to sell contract, and it's going to allow me to type into the fields that need to be completed. All right, so you'll see here auto-populated, her name, the brokerage, the address, legal description. I'm going to go over to Realist, and I'm going to type that in, or I'm sorry, copy and paste that. I'm not going to do that for you right now. Hopefully you guys all know how to do that. If not, please ask. So like I said, it's going to be 6/18, and I'm going to do it for 3 months. I said the list price was $175. This line here is for if you're going to put it in pre-MLS. Okay, so if it's going to go in pre-MLS, you need to click this checkbox, and then you need to put in the date on which showings will start. So for example, if I did this for tomorrow's date, but it's not going to be showing until Friday or Saturday, for example, I could put 6/18 there, and that way it doesn't get shown. That becomes your MLS active date. Okay, then this is pertaining to residential, so it is going to go there. You've got new construction or land. Okay, then you as an agent need to read through and be able to articulate what this says. I'm not going to do that. That's not the purpose of this particular video, but you need to be able to articulate and do an overview to your clients on what the contract states. This particular line here, you can see I could fill it in. So please read through that and decide if that is something that you are going to put a value in. For me, I leave it blank. Again, that's your decision to make as an agent. Okay, again, these are just things that you need to know at the top. At the bottom here, you've got the authorization to disclose. So motivating factor for sale of property. Typically, I always click the second one. The first one, that the seller does not authorize broker to disclose reason for sale. If your client would like you to for some reason, you can obviously click on the second one and write in the motivating factor. The second one here, B, we have other offers. This is whether or not your client wants you to disclose if there are other offers. Typically, I click this middle one that I am able to disclose that there are other offers, but not the terms and conditions of those offers. So this is a question you need to go over with your client. Typically, these are pretty standard for me, and just I talk to my clients before filling this out, so I know how they would like me to answer that. Okay, again, this page 4, there's nothing to fill out. Again, just things that you guys need to be able to articulate. More of that on page 5. And then we get to our brokerage relationship confirmation. So for a listing, you're going to select yes, yes, no, no, yes, yes. And here you're going to put in the title company. So I use Security First Title. So that is going to be put there for me. Again, whatever title company you're using should be put there, and then the name that the property is vested in. Okay, compensation. So this is how much your commission will be. So if standard is 6%. So if you are charging your client the full 6%, then you need to put that in there. For me, I always write 6% out and then put 6% in parentheses, as you can see there. Okay, this one needs to be a percentage sign. Okay, so I've seen some people put in 3 and 3. It needs to be percent. So how you're going to split it. So if you're doing the full 6%, you're probably going to be splitting that 50-50 with another agent. If for some reason you were going to do a discounted listing, so you were going to do 5%, then it would be a 60-40 split where you're giving the buyer's agent 60% and you're keeping 40%, unless you're going to split that 50-50. Okay, for me personally, I try to always give the buyer's agent 3%. If I negotiate it down, then I feel like I should be the one that is taking the lesser commission. So again, these are just some of my viewpoints. As an agent, as your own self, you can choose how you want to do that. So if you did 5%, it could be still 50-50. And then this is going to be your other compensation. So if you have a BAC, that amount is going to go there. If you don't have one, then you can just put a 0, or you can leave that one blank. Okay. Also keeping in mind that the brokerage does have a minimum percentage that you have to get from each transaction. So you cannot do a 1% buy or sell where you are only getting 1%. Okay, that is not something that the brokerage will allow you to do. So you have to get at least 2%. So please keep that in mind. If you have questions or concerns about that, please talk to your coach and or our broker, David Bryan. Okay, for C, I always put 60 in here. Again, this is something you guys need to read through and understand what this is saying and being able to articulate that to your client. But you can see if the property is not sold, but a sale is made directly or indirectly within 60 days to anyone to whom the property was shown or submitted during the term of the contract, then you are still entitled to a compensation. Okay. Here, home warranty. So this is, again, one of those questions you ask ahead of time. If the seller is going to purchase a home warranty up front, and that information goes there. If not, you're going to click on that. 14, make sure that you do click that the broker is a member of a franchise, because that is true for us. If there are any additional terms and conditions, those need to be written in there. So for example, if you're going to once a contract is accepted, if you're going to be show for backup versus pending, you need to have that in your contract that it will be show for backup. It's going to auto-populate your brokerage, should auto-populate your name here in the designated agent, and that is the end of the contract. So I hope that was helpful for you guys. I will real quick pull up the buyer or the franchise disclosure. It should have already populated everything in there for me. So at this point, I could just add those two things into an envelope and send it to signatures to my client. Just so that you guys know, for the franchise disclosures, they do not have to be signed by both buyer and seller. They just need to be signed by the agent or by the person that you are representing. So if you're representing the seller, then you would need to have this signed obviously by a seller, but the buyers don't have to sign it. Same thing if you're representing the buyer, then the buyers need to sign it, but you don't have to send it to the sellers for signature. So again, just giving you guys a heads up on that. You can choose to do that as you want to. If you do have the buyer and you put it on the offer contract, that is an addendum that's going to be an addenda that's going to be attached, then you do have to have it signed by the other party. So I know that's a little bit confusing. So again, if you guys have questions about this, any of this that I've talked about, please don't hesitate to reach out to your coach.